I want to talk to you guys today about something that has been kind of bothering me for a while now, and that is what I feel is the exploitation of addicts, and the fact that people do not try to help addicts in the proper way. Now, with me, I'm going to talk about something that is kind of personal, and it is, I would say, that has influenced me quite a bit into take the journey I'm taking now and switching to the career path I'm taking now and embarking on the journey I'm starting in January. If you guys don't know, I'm walking the whole state of Tennessee, 560 miles. I planned it out to take about 50 days. I will be going and talking to drug rehab centers, clinics, places like that, to talk to people about halfway houses, things like that, to talk to people about anxiety, depression, drug addiction. So, hope you guys follow me on that journey. But I want to talk about suboxone clinics today, suboxone and subutex, and the issue with it and why it's going to turn into another epidemic, I feel like, if it's not there already. So this is my take on suboxone. I do have a lot of experience with suboxone, about 13 years to be exact. Now, the research, the studies, the personal experience with suboxone, and I will give you a quick little backstory before I get into this. At the age of 16, I was in a car wreck, messed up my back, collarbone, shoulder. They put me on pain pills, got addicted to those pain pills through nobody's fault of my own. I knew once I started getting to the point they was running out, and I was doing things, stealing people's medicines to get on them, that was my fault. It was not a doctor's for prescribing that to me. Let me just get that clear, because a lot of people like to blame doctors or their surroundings or whatever. Nope, I did that. And I did tell the doctor I wanted to get off of them. They recommended me to a suboxone clinic. It was one of the first suboxone, and this was 13 years ago. It was one of the first suboxone clinics in the state of Tennessee. I was one of the first, I think, 30 patients in a suboxone clinic in the state of Tennessee. And I was only supposed to be on this medication for 6 weeks. This doctor tells me that I need a maintenance program. I have chronic pain, due to my back. I'm probably going to have to be on this for life. And now, still me, I could have said, no, I want to be off this. I can deal with it, find another way to deal with it. But no, I took it because I want to be honest. The suboxone, and this is something else I'm going to get into, the suboxone gave me a crazy buzz. Like, it gave me, at first, it gave me a buzz that was far more superior than any narcotic except for Oxycontin that I had done. So that was, just to be blunt here, that was one of the reasons that I stayed on it and just complied with, oh, here we go. So that's what I'm saying. This is all my fault. I want you guys to take note that everything I'm talking about was my fault. Even the car wreck was my fault. I was speeding. My fault. All this was my fault. Keep that in mind. So get on this suboxone, and it's supposed to just be 6 weeks, and it turned into a pretty long time. Now, I hadn't came off pain pills before that, and only the detox lasted about 3 to 5 days. The suboxone, when I came off the suboxone, it was about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and then maybe even 3 weeks to feel fully normal. But after 10 days, I felt, it was all mental after the 10-day mark. So there was about 5 to 6 days of suffering. The rest of it was bearable, tolerable. So I'm putting that out there so you don't think I'm just blindly talking about this shit. And that's my experience, my story, in a nutshell with this medication. So I go talk to, like I said, I go talk to these clinics now for free. Keep this in mind. Right now I'm doing this for free. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm doing it for free. So this is what I'm saying when I say that these doctors, these counselors in here, for the most part, do not care. They wouldn't be there doing it without the money. They wouldn't be there doing it without some type of benefit from it. I know this for a fact. They come in there and they offer you solutions to imaginary problems. They come in there and talk. They will fuss at people for failing drug tests for marijuana while they're sitting there pumping themselves full of anti-anxiety medication that they're prescribing to these people, and drinking Mountain Dew and saying that they can't function without caffeine. Now, these are counselors, drug addiction counselors that are overweight. And please don't hate me for saying that. Please don't hate me for saying that. I'm not being rude about saying that. They're overweight. They have to have sugar, refined sugar and caffeine to function. They have to take anti-anxiety medications or antidepressants themselves. And yet they will try to tell you how to live a better life and try to tell you how to, and fuss at you about smoking a plant. Now, again, if you're in recovery, marijuana is probably not the best thing to do because it may lead you to taking other things. in my experience and in my opinion. However, there's a vast an array of people who can consume marijuana, and it will help them with anxiety. It will help them with cravings for other things. So that is goes down to the person. I just find it hilarious that these counselors will fuss at you for that while they're doing it. And this is the ones I go to. So my thing here is, I wouldn't take life advice from an alcoholic, and I definitely don't want to take addiction advice from someone who is on anti-anxiety medication that is overweight, because they obviously can't control food, so they switched out a drug for food. I don't want to take life advice from someone who is willingly putting refined sugar and shit in their body on a daily basis. And I definitely am not going to take life advice from someone who comes in and blatantly tells their love stories and life stories and the failures of it. So if you're with someone who is abusive to you, why are you still with them? And you expect these people to take life advice from you. And this is where I'm getting at. These people, it's a job to them. This is life to me. And this is why it's rubbing me the wrong way. And let's just get into suboxone as a whole here and why it is so harmful. Now, there is a small percentage it will help. If you are an addict and you do have chronic pain, and you do think that you're going to need some type of medication for the rest of your life, but you don't want to be on pain pills because of the way it's taking your soul, then go check out suboxone. But I do think that there may be some safer alternatives. One would be kratom. I don't recommend kratom unless you are already having problems with addiction, or you're in pain and you don't want to start taking pain pills. Then kratom would be the way to go. But just realize that you can get addicted to kratom. You can get addicted to kratom. Now, the withdrawals aren't as bad as like if you was taking a pain pill, or if you was taking suboxone. You're looking at maybe, I think, 5 days for the kratom to go, and then you could taper it down. Now, there is some research that says it's like a caffeine withdrawal, 3 to 5 days. That's not true at all. From what I've been told, it's more like a slight opiate withdrawal that takes about the same type of time that opiates do, which is about 3 to 5 days, just not as severe. So just keep that in mind. That is a very safe alternative for suboxone. So suboxone don't need to be in the equation at all. And this is an example of why it is a money racket. And it is a money racket. You will only find a very small amount of clinics that will take insurance, that will do sliding scales for people with addictions. So it's cheaper for them to go to a doctor and get pain medication than it is to go get help for that pain medication. Now, keep in mind that the same companies and the same doctors that are prescribing you those pain pills are prescribing you that suboxone at a higher cost. You see, do you not understand the cycle you're playing into? This is what bugs me so bad about it. And the reason this suboxone is, it is dangerous and it is toxic and it is going to become an epidemic. So basically, all you have to do to get suboxone is go into a clinic and tell them that you have an opiate addiction, and 2 hours later, you got a prescription in your hand. Now, the majority of people who go to these clinics go there and get the suboxone and abuse the suboxone or sell the suboxone or subutex, especially the subutex. That is very dangerous. And the reason that they do this is, and the reason they would rather just trade it out for the opiates or the Lortabs, Percocets, whatever, is because it is stronger. The buzz you get is stronger. It lasts longer. So they are paying what? I was paying about $300, $400 a month to go get it, and then the prescription was about $70 for the month, $100. That was $500 a month. I was pissing away. And I justified it in my mind by saying what most people do. And this is everything I tell you guys. I'm speaking out of experience. So when I tell you this is how people think that are addicts, it's because I know it. I was there. I dealt with it. You have that voice in your head that's going to say, we're wasting time and money. We need to stop this now. And then you agree with it. And then not even 30 seconds later, this other voice says, yeah, but we need that to feel normal. We need that to work. We need that to take care of our family. And then you fall into the trap. And then you also have that voice that's like, dude, we'd have to be off work for 2 weeks. We can't afford that. Yes, you can. Look, you're tricking yourself. 2 weeks of your life and you're better for the rest of it. Think about that and think about how that would work. Your job's going to understand. Your doctor should write you a note to be off for 2 weeks. And if you can't afford to be off for 2 weeks of work to save the rest of your life, then you have a bigger problem on hand, because money is determining your happiness and your future. You should not let money is just numbers. And numbers don't end. If you chase after numbers, you're never going to be happy. Just please keep that in mind. So then it becomes a cycle, right? Then it becomes a cycle. These people feel they need to be on it for the rest of their lives. And when you call them out on it, and not even call them out on it, but when you talk to them in a kind way, in a nice way, and you ask them questions like, hey, why do you think you need to be on this? Like, what's your game plan to come off of it? How long have you been on it? Then it turns into you can tell they get annoyed, they get irritated, it rubs them the wrong way because they know you're telling the truth. I want you to notice that anytime that you talk to somebody, if you're saying something that don't apply to them or affect them, it don't bother them. But if you say something that they know can be applied to them, it cuts deep and they get annoyed and offended. And if they're honest, good people, they will accept it, and you can see, you can see emotion in them, not in a bad way, but like, like an epiphany kind of. And I don't mean to say honest, good people, because everybody can be honest and good if they just accept themselves for who they are. And this is the number one way to deal with addiction. You don't need to fill these people full of bullshit and send them on their way to make them feel like they're doing something to work. Now, all these suboxone meetings I go to that I attend before I start talking, or that I've attended before I go there and talk, it's always some counselor asking them how their days went, how their weeks went, have you done anything significant? And then the counselor does more talking than the patients. Right? That's how you know that people are self-centered and arrogant, is when the counselor does more talking than the patients about stuff that's going on in their lives. It's like, listen, that is all fine and good, I talk too. Don't get me wrong, I talk too, but I don't talk. I sit back and let people talk. I listen to what people are saying, and then I react on that. So if you're telling, and then you can quickly decipher who's really trying and who isn't, who's really wanting to go there and who isn't. You can quickly decipher that. This needs to change. It needs to change, in my opinion. Especially, like I said, these counselors, man, the ones that they have there. The majority of these I'm seeing are egotistical, arrogant, judgmental, and want to talk about themselves. It's all about themselves. They don't care about the patients. And that's an eye-opening experience. And this is it's pretty enlightening, and this is how we could help these people. These people need to know that they're worth something. These people need to know that they have a purpose in life. These people need to know that there is people out here who truly care about them. Like, I truly care about you. If no one's told you that today, look, I love you, I care about you, I believe in you, and you have a purpose. Find out the purpose. You are good enough. It doesn't matter what you've done for the past 5 years. It doesn't matter what you did 10 years ago. Know what you can be. Know who you are. Because once you know who you are, you will understand what I'm saying when I say that addiction is an imaginary problem. But in the moment, it seems very real. And I get that. It gets a hold of you. It grabs you, and it takes you for a ride. But this is how we need to treat people. This is how we need to develop them. This is how we need to get them off of drugs. It's not through other medication. Should the medication be applied? Yes, slightly, just to make the detox less severe. But on a grand scale, no. They don't need medication. They need someone to be there for them. They need someone to talk to them. They need someone to listen to them. They need someone to tell them that they are good enough. And they have a purpose. And that it's okay what they did. It's okay to fuck up. It's okay to fail. It's okay to feel how you're feeling. But what's not okay is to continue doing it. Stop it today. That is what they need to be told. That is what I'm telling them. And it kind of breaks my heart that these, like I said, these counselors and doctors have the, I guess, nerve to sit there and talk to people who really need help and try to make it all about them. They lie to them. They spin them the yarn. They don't really care, and you can tell they don't care. It's like a job to them. And again, I'm not being mean or rude, but I wouldn't take life advice from an alcoholic. I wouldn't take life advice from someone that's overweight. I wouldn't take life advice from someone who's having a shitty relationship. I wouldn't take life advice from someone who puts shit in their body. No one should. And that's not me being negative or judgmental or mean. That's just the blatant and honest truth. of the matter, you should not take life advice from anyone like that, and you definitely shouldn't take advice from someone offering you answers to imaginary problems. Because once you fix yourself, you find yourself, you accept yourself, and you be happy with yourself, you'll quickly notice that all these problems you've created for yourself, that your imagination has took a hold of you. And that's what it is. The number one thing I want you guys to realize is imagination can be a powerful thing if you truly understand what imagination is. Because I'll give you an example. Have you ever got annoyed with someone at work because you think they said something, or they said one thing and then you perceived it to be something worse? So you build it up and build it up and build it up in your head, making it seem worse and worse and worse, like this person's horrible and they're talking to you, talking about you or whatever. And by the time you say something to them, you built this up for a couple days, 2 or 3 days, maybe even longer. And at that point, your imagination has made this person out to be a horrible, evil monster, when in all actuality, they probably weren't, So that's one example of how your imagination can get you and run with you. And I want you guys to realize imagination is a powerful thing. It's a scary thing. It's a beautiful thing. Without imagination, you wouldn't be here right now. Think about that. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a wonderful week. You go do something you guys like doing today. Take the first step today. Don't wait. I know holidays are coming up, guys. Don't push this off until January 1st. Don't do it. Do it today. Love you guys.